All over our cities, along our coastlines and across our green and pleasant land, an invisible army is fighting a never-ending war. Their enemy is the filth that we create and the vermin that thrive on it. Welcome to the hidden world of the Grimefighters. On Grimefighters tonight, toil and trouble in Dagenham.
There's something about witches, and they're like a witch. You've got loads and loads and loads of witches.
Restaurant inspectors Johnny and Faye are battling with the truth.
So you've got an ice machine downstairs?
I'm also here.
Ice machine.
Oh, sorry.
Did you not know that? I think she understood me, so I'm disappointed.
An estate agent feels he's not cut out for grime fighting.
It's a very, very difficult job. I won't get my suit dirty in my Italian shoes.
And some country mice thought they had it made until Dave the Verminator paid them a visit.
In a few days, you won't be feeling very chipper.
But first, a mystery in Dagenham. A property has been vacated by tenants, and it's up to Council Officer Tony to assess the situation.
Right, see what joy this one brings. Another one of our empties.
Tony has only a few days to see that this place is ready for new tenants. But there's a problem. It's full of family belongings. The tenants have obviously left in a hurry, but why?
Looking at the photographs, and all the stuff's been packed up, but it's not been removed, so I would think this is probably a rent arrears.
Tony is an old hand at reading the clues.
And we've got a bag of tablets, so I would think that it's probably somebody that had quite, bad health. Right, we'll just check the utility room now. Absolutely jam-packed with stuff, and as suspected, I've just noticed, we was talking about somebody that might be a bit infirmed, might have suddenly had a disease or something come up on them, or ill health, and that's why the place has ended up in a state.
And the kitchen's no better.
We've got some work to do in here. For some reason or other, the tiles have all been removed. There's everything known to man to clean the property, and it doesn't look like it's ever been used.
Gradually, the evidence begins to make sense.
It seems that it was somebody that was fairly infirmed that's here. They obviously have had some sort of a disease, and they've obviously had a family come back to live with them. That's what it seems to be. And for some reason or the other, whether the parent has died, and the son or daughter doesn't want to take the tenancy, they've just left very quickly.
Upstairs, it's even worse.
Well, as suspected, this is more packed than downstairs. They've tried to get packed up in a hurry, and obviously not got the stuff out. It's just everything that you would need to set up an home, but it's just totally been left. I mean, even to brand new slippers that never been worn. There's something about witches, and they're like a witch. We've got loads and loads and loads of witches. Perhaps it's an in thing, witches.
Precious personal possessions are all over the house.
That's probably cost quite a lot of money, that. Well, if I had more time, I'd have that set up. Look at that. That's sad. Some kiddie would like that. Probably some kiddie that won't get any toys at Christmas this year would have loved that.
It all seems such a waste.
Record of somebody's life. Another couple of days, that'll be gone. Never to be seen again.
Time has run out for the owners to reclaim their belongings.
The ideal thing would be if we could take this lot to a charity shop and recycle it. But unfortunately we can't. We've got so little time to do it that by the time you arrange with a charity shop to come and pick it all up, probably your 20 days would be gone. So it just gets dumped.
Tomorrow, Tony's team of extreme cleaners will have no choice but to dispose of all the contents. In Wolverhampton, there's big trouble in Little China when Johnny and Faye come calling. The two restaurant inspectors have come by appointment, but the manager of this Chinese restaurant is nowhere to be seen.
One thing we are sort of quite conscious of is we don't like to be kept waiting too long. Obviously, we like to sort of arrive at the premises and get straight into the kitchen for obvious reasons, you know. Hi, my name's John. I'm from Environmental Health at the Council. We're just here at the premises to do a routine food hygiene inspection. I just spoke to the food business operator. He's actually currently in London at the moment, but we're still quite keen to get in, have a look around, and make sure that sort of generally everything's okay.
Johnny and Faye get to work, or try to.
Do you speak any English? Do you speak English? Yes, that's a no.
Undeterred, the inspectors begin their rounds.
Although perhaps we can't talk to anybody, we can still look around and kind of get a feel for what's happening at the premises.
It soon becomes clear that all is not well in the kitchen.
I've just been looking underneath the work surfaces, and there are quite significant accumulations of food debris.
And that's not all.
I've just been looking at the cleanliness of the flooring and walls underneath the deep fat fryers here, and it's really quite bad. There's a load of oil that's been spilt. They need to book up their ideas.
It's up to the inspectors to explain the problems and the dangers of substandard working practices.
Yep, so you've got an antibacterial cleaning pocket. We'll try and find out where they're using it.
Johnny has a lot he wants to say.
Where do you guys use this? Where do you use it? Okay, where do you use this? So, if you were using that, where would you use it? On the table, okay. Would you spray that on here? No? What would you clean that with? Okay, not for equipment. Right.
But could his efforts be lost in translation?
Well, obviously, the reason we're here is to protect public health and make sure that people's food is safe to eat. Well, when you're left with these sort of conditions, you do kind of think, well, you know, what's happening really? And I think the chap's gone away and nobody really knows what's going on.
Back in Dagenham, the clean team arrive.
Morning.
Ex-servicemen Gary and Luke have got their work cut out.
Nice clean one. And there's just a lot of stuff in there.
And as trained soldiers, they're just getting on with it. It's unsentimental work. But even Gary and Luke have their qualms.
It's a shame with some of this furniture, you know, I mean, someone else could use it, but unfortunately the system they have in place at the moment is just that it goes to the tip and that's it, you know.
This looks really, really old. A lot of history by the looks of it, but it's a shame that obviously things like these get chucked away all the time. Unfortunately, it just goes straight to the tip.
It's not just family history which is being thrown away.
They must have liked the witches and that, I mean, probably into that sort of thing, you know, black magic or whatever else, you know, it might be like a hobby or, you know, an interest of theirs or something like that. There's no Cauldrons fans yet, but we'll keep looking anyway.
There could be a broomstick in there. Yes, yes, they're over the moon. But some photographs take on a special meaning for these ex-soldiers.
These could be from maybe like the Falklands or something like that. They look like quite old pictures. It's nice to see. Look, he's got the mayor there as well, welcoming him home. All the streets, all got the Union Jacks. It's good to see.
Don't get it anymore.
No, you don't, no.
When I came back from Iraq, my neighbour done a big sign and put it up and whatever else, you know. It's like, it's nice, you know what I mean? It is nice when you get things like that. They look like they had a big street party and everything.
It's good to see things like that.
No.
It's soon back to business. All this stuff must go. Finally, the house is cleared and everything is on the truck. Well, almost everything.
Got all this memorabilia here, but hopefully we're going to find someone who's in the parish, or we might be able to talk to someone and see if we can find out who this bloke was and get all this memorabilia back to him, because there's a lot of history here, basically. So we'd rather give it to him than chuck it at the tip.
Time for the weekend then.
Bit cleaner, so we get off there.
Yeah.
Who says Grimefighters don't care? Back in Wolverhampton, Johnny and Faye continue their inspection of the Chinese restaurant.
Have you got a cellar underground, underneath? Have you got a cellar?
Yeah.
Have you got it? Okay. After you, Faye. We'll send Faye down first in case there's anything scary.
The cellar holds a dark secret. It isn't long before Johnny sheds light on it.
Got an ice machine here, which the girl upstairs, I managed to ask her, you know, where they get the ice, and she did tell me that it's from the local supermarket. Well, it's clearly not. It's from this dirty ice machine, which is disappointing.
Dirty ice is as bad as dirty drinking water.
So you've got an ice machine downstairs?
I'm also here.
Ice machine.
Oh, sorry.
Did you not know that?
I don't know.
Faye is determined to probe deeper.
Hot food should be maintained at or above 63 degrees. Now, if this has been sort of at 55 degrees for 3 hours, then it's not particularly safe. The boiled rice is even less. That's like 40, 44.
The products that we find to be under 63 degrees, we're going to be looking for those to be disposed of, really.
What do you normally do with these items?
Finished bin.
You throw them away.
No, it's a finished bin.
Do you make any checks here when it's on display?
It's 16 fly or 17.
But do you check?
Yeah.
But the inspectors have their doubts.
Just coming for again and check.
So what time did you last use that probe?
Just half 1.
1:30.
Yeah.
So that was the last time?
Yeah.
Okay, and what temperature was it?
Temperature is 55.
55. And if it is 55, you should do something about it.
Okay.
So you didn't do anything about it today?
So
Okay.
Johnny's heard enough for one day.
Well, basically, the staff haven't really got a clue as to what's going on.
When Faye reads the menu, another problem emerges.
Now, I noticed in the freezer that the crab claws, what they're offering as stuffed crab claws, there's actually no crab in them. It's like surimi, which is a crab substitute, and then it's surimi flavoured as crab. So they shouldn't really be advertising it as stuffed crab claws because it's misleading to the customer.
Frustrated, the inspectors can't reach a conclusion today.
Not good. Not good really at all, and we haven't actually asked any questions yet, just from sort of making observations and looking around. We're quite concerned really about food handling practices at this premises.
Coming up, country mice living the life of Riley get a rude awakening.
There's a nest of what we call in the trade pinkies.
And Darren demonstrates his expertise with collapsible furniture. Up and down the land, a little-known army of dedicated professionals are devoted to battling an ever-advancing tide of grime. In Gloucestershire, there's an exceptional farm building which provides a perfect home for a colony of mice. It's a grain store with tons of oats, wheat and barley, a sort of muesli mountain for mice. The farmer has called in Dave the Verminator.
You can feed every mouse in the world probably for a year with what's in this one grain store.
Dave has no doubt who the enemy are, and he starts by checking the traps and bait boxes he laid only a few hours ago.
There we are. Oh, there'll be hundreds in here. You don't see them as much, but there'll be plenty in here. I mean, that tray of bait there, that was a fresh tray yesterday afternoon. As you can see, they've had a fair old go at it, and we've caught a couple on the way. You can see the extent of the problem. You see these black marks here.
It may not be obvious, but to Dave, it's quite clear what's been going on.
That's where the mice run up the corner, and over time the grease comes off of their fur and the dirt, and you get these black marks where they travel all the time.
This is a motorway, an M1 for mice.
People don't realise how easy it is for mice to climb walls, but I mean that to a mouse is like a staircase. What are we on? We're on 3. Let's see if we can find some more. because you've got a big grain dryer and what have you in here, you've got a lot of high voltage stuff. You do not need mice getting into the high voltage stuff and chewing the wires, because if they do that, then you're going to have serious problems. Another one. That's 4.
Almost every trap has claimed a victim. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of mice eating, sleeping and breeding in this barn, but not a single living one in sight. So where are they?
These buildings are usually made of concrete blocks, which are hollow, of course, which is fine as long as they're capped off. But when they put these conduits in, of course, they make a bigger void in there, like a block of flats. You can have hundreds of mice living in a wall like this.
If Dave has found so many bodies in the outer rooms of the grain store, what will he find within? The value of any property is in the eyes of the beholder. One person's wouldn't touch it with a barge pole is another person's fantastic opportunity. In Grimsby, crime fighter Darren has come to the aid of an estate agent with a problem. Steve's got a house to let, but there aren't many takers.
The tenants moved out 2 days ago, no warning, and you've seen the state of the house, so we'll have to check the garage out.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's definitely an accumulation of waste.
It's part and parcel of the rent and lettings game, to be fair. I mean, obviously people come and go, and they come and go quite quickly, and they leave that devastation behind. I mean, look at the settees in there, mattresses.
It's not a pretty sight, and on further inspection, it's still not a pretty sight.
Definitely food waste, probably be a sign of rats. You've got the settee, bulky waste, which obviously costs a lot of money, takes up a lot of room on the vans and trailers. It's quite a big job, but it's a case of being more cautious than anything. Obviously, like I say, there could be needles in here. We'll get the team in and start getting it cleared.
Steve is grateful that with Darren, he's working with a professional.
I can't do what Daz does. I mean, I won't get my suit dirty in my Italian shoes, so he gets in among the muck, and I really do rate him. It's a very, very difficult job.
While Steve wheels and deals, Darren's lads duck and dive, and a good time is had by all.
Yeah, if it comes on, I'll be watching it. Christmas balls, and I'm thinking like packed butcher earrings a bit later on.
I think Steve was in here last night, have no funny feeling.
Not me, not guilty.
Personally, if I brought my missus here, I don't think she's too impressed.
But it is quite sad to throw people's belongings away, and pictures and memories. That's the way it goes.
I think there really was romantic, wasn't there? I do love you, please Phil. Please Phil? Please fall out with me. That doesn't make sense, does it? See you Sunday. Christmas crackers.
All right,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You've won a prize, Daz. What kind of cough medicine does Dracula take?
Oh,
Coughing medicine.
As Darren, Steve and Sean restore some order to the garage, Steve has a vision of a perfect sale.
I smell money.
yeah.
A modern detached garage, fully fitted out with all the modcon electrics, you know. Will shelter your car from the wear and tear of the winter.
And the golden oldies keep on coming.
Hey, Freddie Star. There's one for you.
That'll be ready.
No. Hey, Steve. There's something in here, mate.
Whatever it is, it's mine, yeah?
Finders keepers.
What'll it be next?
Christmas present for you, mate.
It does look like a homemade rowing machine, to be honest. Something that you put on the floor and pedal away.
But why would people dump so much junk in a garage?
It's so disgusting. For the price of a skip now, it's just as cheap just to put it in a skip and get rid of it properly. Just don't care. They don't want to part with the money, they're just not bothered. That's all it boils down to, laziness and money.
Now it's just furniture left, and by the looks of it, none of it is very special.
Didn't take too long. Straight in there. Obviously loaded up. Going empty. Next job. No needles, but yeah, what we found was normal household waste. A few other little bits, as you've seen. Get cracking.
Job done. Estate agent Steve can dream his dream.
You've got a fairly sizable garage with a fairly sizable house. So all in all, it's a bargain for £400 a month.
Any takers? Back at the farm in Gloucestershire, Dave the Verminator enters the grain barn and is nearing the end of the great mouse hunt.
If you can get a pen into a gap, and it's a bit wider, then a mouse can get in there. As long as it can get its head through, the rest of it's pretty flexible, and they'll get into the gaps. I mean, there's ample room in here, as you can see. And once they get into there, then they can get into the blocks. This chaff, that's good nesting material for them. They'll drag that in there and make a nice cosy nest. Don't have to go far to the shops.
He's got a mountain to climb. It'll be worth it in the end.
There you go, there's some down there now. 3 adults, one about half grown, and a nest of what we call in the trade pinkies, which are about probably a sort of 5 to 7 days old. So they won't be reaching adulthood, let's put it that way. That's the hole that they're using. Right, just big enough for me to get my finger in. There's not going to be any point in putting a trap there because there's several down in this column. So what we'll do, we'll just top this bait up. In a few days, they won't be feeling very chipper.
Dave leaves enough poison to make sure that the mice aren't tempted back to their perfect country home.
Back in a day or two, have a look.
Since filming the show, a delighted Steve has managed to find a new tenant for his Grimsby house and garage. The Chinese restaurant owner talks of a helpful visit by the health inspectors, and he's putting all their recommendations into practice. And Gary and Luke succeeded in using their army connections to trace the owner of those military mementos.